Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Coaching for Coaches. I'm your host, Miles Grant, founder of Master Coach and Certified Elite Performance Coaching. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to start your coaching business. Now, this is a big one. This is a big topic. This is a big area. There's a lot in this one. There's a lot of meat and potatoes in this one. So I really want to do my best to simplify it down for you. How do you get started? A lot of what I'm going to share with you, a lot of what I'm going to say in this episode, very common sense, but not common practice. A lot of what I'm going to say in this episode, you already know, but stick around because knowledge isn't power unless it's applied. So a lot of what I'm going to share with you, you may have heard before, but it's really important that you know that there's a difference between knowing something intellectually and actually having checked in with yourself and gone, have I actually done that? Have I actually applied that thing that mouthy man on YouTube has actually been telling me to do? So how do you start your coaching business? If you're here, if you're watching, give me a heart or a like or a yo or a howdy or whatever works for you to let me know that you're here, that you're watching. So let's talk about it, shall we? How do you start? Where do you start? Well, I'm going to ethically steal a little bit out of Tony Robbins' playbook for this one. Many years ago, I studied a great program by Tony Robbins called Time of Your Life. If you haven't been through that program, it's a great program all around time management, but there's so much more to it than that, which I think is really going to help you with this particular video. Because here's the thing, most unsuccessful coaches, most amateur coaches, when they ask this question, how do I start my coaching business? They immediately go into overwhelm, panic, and basically trying to do a million and one things all at the same time. And so the problem with that is if you do lots of stuff, not knowing whether it's the right thing, you might do loads of stuff and not get the result you want, or you do what has happened to me in the past, which is you do loads of stuff and then you get so overwhelmed, you end up stopping and then you do nothing. So if there's one thing I've learned is that great thing from Tony Robbins I learned is that if you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get pain. So if you do the right, he says, if you do the right thing at the wrong time, you get pain. What does that mean for you in regards to your coaching business? Well, think of it like learning to drive. Those of you that drive will get the analogy. Those of you that don't will get the analogy. Think about learning to drive. If you pass your test and then you go and get yourself an expensive sports car for your first car, there's a likelihood, forget that, there's a probability that you're going to crash that expensive shiny car. In fact, I remember a good friend of mine got a fancy Peugeot 306 for his first car. Wealthy parents. Hi, Fran O'Neill, if you're watching. Expensive, flashy Peugeot 306 with a massive exhaust on the back, like bum, 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 bum. Anyway, we went into an NCP car park. To cut a long story short, scraped the side of this car on the first week that he had it. And so to cut a long story short, great car, wrong time for Fran to get that car, right? Because he was inexperienced as a driver. So what I'm trying to tell you here is you've got to know when you start your coaching business that you're doing the right thing at the right time. Really important. So those of you that are watching like Miles, just tell me what I need to know. I don't have all day. So here's what you need to do. So there's effectively three things that you're going to want to do. Three things that you want to do to get your coaching business started. And again, please don't throw something at the screen in frustration. What I'm about to share with you, you probably have heard before, but like I said, knowledge is only power if it's applied. So there's three things you need to do. In fact, to simplify this and make this practical so that it isn't just knowledge, it's actually applied knowledge. Here's what I'd like for you to do. If you're watching this video now, grab a piece of paper or a notepad. No, really, I'm actually going to wait until you go and do that. Why are you still watching the screen? Go and get a note. What are you doing? Go and get a notepad. I'm not continuing until you grab a notepad. All right, I'm trusting that you've grabbed the piece of paper. So here's what we want you to do. Piece of paper, plain piece of paper, and I want you to put 3 columns. So you're only actually going to have to draw 2, right? 2 lines down the page, which creates your 3 columns. In the middle column, I want you to write what, question mark. What, question mark. Which is going to basically get you to think about what do you want to achieve from your coaching business. So first column, middle column, really important is the middle column, what do you want? The right-hand column, I want you to write why. So that's going to indicate that you're considering why do you want that thing that you've said you want for your coaching business. So second column, right-hand column, why, question mark. Third column, left side, how, question mark. How, what do you need to do? How are you going to make that goal happen? Here's why this 3-column process is important. This is taken from Tony Robbins' Time of Your Life program, RPM, Rapid Planning Method, he calls it. And I use in fact, I've got it here actually. I use the manual for about $150, but I use this methodology for planning my goals, my life, when I want to achieve something. So here's what you need to know. Most coaches, what they do is they want to go straight to how. So the person that asked this question for this video, how do I start my coaching business? That is the 3rd question you want to ask, not the 1st. Here's why. Tony Robbins says, many of us, when we want to achieve a goal, we get caught up in the tyranny of how. And what that means is we go to how before we first go. Before we first get laser clear. You've got to get laser clear first on what the bloody hell do you want? Like, what do you want? And by that means, pick a date in time in the future, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and go, right, what do you want for your coaching business? How many clients do you want to have? How much money do you want to have made? And you have to be really, really, really specific, because otherwise a goal without a specific target is just a wishy-washy dream. I think there's a quote for that somewhere on Google. I think I've got that wrong, but the point is, if you don't have a clear target, then you're just a person that is driving and driving and driving and driving. Eventually you run out of fuel because you didn't have a clear destination. So you need to be first clear on what do I really want? So before you go, how do I start my coaching business? Go, what do I want my coaching business to look like, be like, feel like, smell like? Can a coaching business have a smell? So you've got to get first really clear on what it is that you freaking want. Now, some of you are like, Miles, you're preaching to the choir. You're teaching me to suck eggs. I know this stuff. How is this relevant? Well, once you know what you want, for those of you that, forgive me, are already clear on that, here's the next thing. Arguably, the secret sauce. If this were a recipe to a meal, what I'm about to share with you is the secret sauce. Because here's the thing. Most coaches that are unsuccessful, that know what they want, the reason why they don't achieve it is because they don't know why they want it. Here's another saying stolen out of Tony Robbins' playbook. I'm doing a lot of that today, aren't I? He says, reasons come first, answers come second. Reasons come first, answers come second. What do I mean by that? Think about it this way. If you're not a morning person, and I tell you, would you become a morning person if I had a trip of a lifetime to Barbados, or your holiday dream destination, you choose, all expenses paid, open ticket? Would you become a morning person? Would you get to the airport at 3 a.m.? You probably would. So what does that mean? Well, that means that now you've got more motive to take action. Break down the word motivation for a second. Break down that word. What is it? Motive to take action. And what most coaches do that know what they want, Miles, I know what I want. They take action and then they get overwhelmed, or they procrastinate, or they write loads of to-do lists and then they get so busy that they're like, oh, I don't know what to do now. So they know what they want, but because they don't have really compelling reasons, they run out of motivation. So what you want to do is you want to get really, really clear about why do you want that goal. It's all well and good to say, I want to build a coaching business that pays me loads of money. Why? Why is that important? And here's another thing. Here's a secret sauce for the secret sauce I'm going to give you right now. Come up with a list of 20 reasons why you want that goal. Here's why. Why 20? I hear you say. Well, because studies show, there's research have been shown, that the more compelling reasons that you have to achieve a goal, the more plan. Yeah. Sorry for those of you that lost part of the broad. Just back. We're back. There we go. We're back. Sorry for the break in the broadcast there. We had a Wi-Fi issue. So what I was saying before I got so rudely interrupted by BT Internet was most people, the reason why they know what they want, but they don't follow through long term. So, you know, the statistics that show that, you know, I can't remember the number and I'll probably get this wrong, but a lot of people will start the gym, for example. It's an industry I'm familiar with. Maybe you are as well. Start the gym and then they stop after a few weeks or a few months. Why does that happen? Invariably, it's because they had one singular motivation to start, but that wasn't enough to keep them going when the weather I think we're back. I think we are. The Wi-Fi is failing us on this episode. I think we're back. So I'm gonna not jinx it. I'm gonna try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. So 3 things that we need. Let's to kind of simplify and wrap up the show. First thing we need is what? Middle column. What do you want? How many clients? How much money? By when? You've got to be specific. Most coaches aren't specific about that. Right-hand column. Why do you want it? Come up with at least 20 reasons. Research has shown the more reasons you have, the more likely you are to follow through and maintain it long term. Third column, how? Okay, simple question you want to ask for this column is, what's one thing I could do today to move forward towards the goal? Because here's the thing, the how bit is endless. And that's actually why a lot of people get overwhelmed. How do I start a coaching business? They come up with a million different variables, and there's probably a million different ways to get started, but you can only do one at a time. Contrary to popular belief, men and women can't multitask. So what you want to do is instead go, what do I want? Get very specific. Why do I want it? 20 reasons. Gives you real motivation to keep going when things get tough. Third column, left column, what's one thing I could do today to move forward on building a coaching business? Because here's the thing, Chinese proverb said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you're out of shape and you join a gym, you can't get the 6-pack of your dreams in one workout. The journey to a healthy body starts with one single workout. The journey to building a coaching business starts with one simple action. But to reduce the overwhelm of which action do you take, Miles, you've got to decide what do you want and why do you want it. Those 2 things must come first before you ask this question, how? All right. Hope you found this video useful. If you have, comment, let me know your thoughts, let me know your key takeaways. I really do want to know. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. And that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Peace. Peace out. See you soon.